having people do something because of what they said, because of what they did, because of what they chose to do, that's when they start paying attention. It's like, oh, he just got 1 million people to go out of their homes and walk around yelling whatever into the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the consequence for 1 million people trying to do something and no one listening. So then we set another goal. We set another time. So we'll say next goal is 3 million people. Okay, 3 million people all agree that we're going to tell them to stop. If they don't stop, this is the consequence. And at 3 million people, the consequence is 3 million people went into every single McDonald's and started screaming at the top of their lungs, saying something, talking to people, making an impact, and then going away.
Right. I very much feel like I can, continue to do what I've already been doing and trying to change people's minds or see different perspectives and, take the same path that I've been taking to change their life so that they can change the world. Because again, I think it ultimately comes down to people feel so trapped in their own personal life that they can't do anything outside their own little bubble.
Survival mode makes doing anything real hard, next to impossible.
And but I don't feel, I don't even know if the word is entitled enough to put consequences on someone other than to say every action comes with a consequence. But I don't feel like it's my job to be the enforcer of that consequence. I feel like that's something higher than me.
Right. No, and that's just it. That's why you are so important to the overall thing, because I don't want you to feel like you have to.
Right.
I want you to believe that when I tell you what the consequence is and they don't listen, I want you to want to do it. I want you to want to show them. I can't make you do anything. I'm merely a call to action.
So I guess it depends on what the consequence, basically what you ask me to do. If I feel like it's something that I feel like I can do, because being a mom, it's not about just me anymore. What I do impacts my daughter.
Yes.
And my ability to keep her safe.
Absolutely. No, and that's when you have responsibilities.
Lose everything I have in order to save the whole entire world. Of course, I would love to save the whole entire world, but if all I can do, my responsibility is myself and my daughter.
Right.
What I would love to do outside of that is save everybody. But I also have spent my whole entire life trying to save everybody that I come across, and it has done nothing but drain me. So I've learned that boundaries, in a sense of, I'm going to do what feels right. I'm going to continue trying to change the world. But if it comes to a point where I feel like I need to walk away, then I need to walk away. Or if something doesn't feel right with me, or I need to take a break. So I can't make any promises to you in that sense.
No. And 100%. I'm going to answer that, and then I need to talk to Sergeant Kiss that just popped into TikTok because they're listening and they're watching.
Yeah.
So, that's why I say it, and I've said it many times. I don't know if you've heard me say it, but I do not coerce. I do not force. I'm merely trying to intrigue and convince. Okay. You can say no at any time. You can walk away at any time.
Understood.
Ooh. Okay. Let me talk to Sergeant Kiss real quick, and then I need to respond to Kane as well. All right. So, Sergeant Kiss, you are here. You are watching. I need to know if you're ready to stop watching, and you're ready to start doing. Kane, the reason a general strike hasn't been mentioned yet is because we are not together enough for us to make an impact. Okay? The 50501 protest. Why I couldn't remember that word. The 50501 protests were big, but even they weren't big enough. They made an impact, kinda, but it wasn't enough. The reason why I haven't said anything related to an actual assigned protest is because we are not ready to do so. There are others, however, that are. And what I'm going to do here, Sergeant Kiss, since you are ready and you are watching, is I need you to go find something in real time. I need you to go and engage with it. Okay, find a group of people, whether you make it yourself or you join one other, and I need you to go in with a very specific intention. That intention is that you saw a crazy guy and he told you to go into the world and do this, and then to bring everyone to him. It's a circle. It has to be. That's how the connection is made. It's a cycle, it's a pattern, it's whatever you want to call it. So, Sergeant Kiss, really genuinely and honestly, if you want to do something, I need you to do it. Because otherwise we don't get anywhere. This has to be explosive. And the only way to do that is to transcend this and go into the real. Exactly. Light work. Time for shadow work is done. Time for shadow work is done. So, excellent. Jamie, you are welcome to, again, hang around, guide, ask. We are live until TikTok peters out. That's basically we ride the wave. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll stick around for a little bit longer, just kind of listen.
Okay.
And I'll chime in or ask questions where
you can. Excellent. Okay. So, spreading like a virus is the intention. You, because I can't be everywhere, but we can be wherever you are. That's why my stuff needs to be so generic and so basic, and why I repeat myself all the time is because I don't want to confuse anybody with opinions. I don't want to confuse anybody with we are as a... Yes, Sergeant Kiss, that is exactly right. Consciousness, as we exist in this timeline, we are all connected. We just happen to be blocked off from each other. It's part of the matrix. It's part of the test. If you understand that this is a test, and that you've been put here to pass that test, then you're ready. Killing things. But
that
go ahead.
Even more with what I search was, the whole Matrix thing. And sorry, I was watching her TikTok, and now it's like I can hear the feedback, so I had to get out.
No, you're good.
But going back to the idea that we don't have to accept this reality, and we can change it. And what I'm learning right now is how to do that. And
yes.
I was already a part of that 5051 group that you mentioned before I even found your page.
That's great.
And, I very much feel that there is, this is bigger than just like politics.
Yes.
And that, it's, I don't know, I feel, and, I'm still gathering lots of information, very new to this whole knowledge I'm acquiring, but that this is, more of a good versus evil. I know that, what is good and what is evil, but it's kind of obvious here in what's going on in the politics world that it's evil. But I feel like it's bigger than something that, I can even comprehend right now. But I do feel very divinely guided in my path, and I feel like it's leading me to the answers of how to fight this battle, basically.
Yes. And so, shifting, whatever, important thing to talk about is momentum. Okay? If we can't gain momentum quickly enough, then we have to stop. We have to reassess, and we have to retry. Come up with a new way to package the message. Pick someone else to lead the charge. Whatever. We need to take the momentum from one attempt into the next attempt. And the easier it is for people to understand that we are all connected, that there is such thing as divine timing. We are approaching the singularity, if you know what that means.
I guess my next question is, how much time do we have? Because I think that changes the approach we take as well.
Absolutely. So the as the picture comes into focus, the amount of time we have left it's shorter. It's shorter than you want it to be. Let's say that. And an end is coming.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's my end. In fact, it likely means that if it is ending, I had nothing to do with it. Because my end isn't an ending, it's the beginning of a song. It's what happens after the last song. But the last song isn't over yet, and I'm hoping to disrupt it before we lose the ability to say what we need to say. Because they're just going to take over. Well, they already have. They have the narrative. They are in control of the narrative 100%. There's so little that we can... That's why it needs to... So, when I said 1 million people earlier, that's like minimum. Okay? Right now we have 4. And not that there's anything wrong with the 4 of you. I appreciate and love you a great deal. But it's not enough. Sorry, I know it's talking in the background. Okay.
Excellent. Get going, wannabe gang member. I shall brief you on the way. We're in a bloody war with the rival gang.
Okay. So, but the important thing, well, and the reason why I'm not a great first choice for this, well, and I'm not even the first one to have attempted this, but I'm just the first one that you are paying attention to. Everyone's saying the same thing. Everyone says that we need to unify. Everyone says that if you don't do something now, there won't be another chance to do something ever. Everyone is saying that, so it's not a unique statement. I'm not trying to say anything unique. I'm trying to point something out. I'm trying to teach because I am a teacher. I don't know if you knew that, Jamie. I think she might have a little one.
Can you still hear me? Did I get lost?
I can hear you now. I don't know.
Go. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what happened, but my question is there any chance that we're not meant to change the outcome that this is supposed to happen?
Yes. 100%. But
Because okay, go ahead.
you have to look at this from a duplicate perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Does it happen because it happened to you? Or does it happen because you made it happen?
I guess it depends on what happens.
Exactly! Good. So, what you're understanding here is that not only am I blowing smoke up of everyone's asses and not telling them really what I am doing, what I am thinking, how I am feeling, and that the crypticness is really just another part of the pattern. If you understand that everything happens for a reason, and you understand that I was put in your path to put you on that path, then you understand we're actually on the same path and always have been the entire time, and you can't change it.
Correct, because that's what I'm coming to realize is that I can't change anybody's outcome other than my own, and as long as I'm personally doing what I feel called to, what is intuitively right for my soul,
right?
You know, that I'm learning to trust that the universe is going to make sure that I'm okay.
Yes.
Of course, that doesn't mean that I'm going to give up on everyone else.
Of course.
But I have taken off the burden of making it my responsibility, I should say. I still want to try, but making it my responsibility to save everyone else. And I'm starting to feel like, because it feels like it's so hard to make a difference, and it's so hard to get through to these people, it's not meant for them.
Right. Yes. Well, and that's a big factor too. Let me ask you. We'll point this in a direction by asking a question.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll preface. Obviously, we know not everyone is convincible because of what is being said and the narrative. But
Don't get killed. Nina, good for you.
Kill my lord.
So what percentage of the population? You can give it a percentage, or you can give it a number, whatever you want. But what percentage of the population, we'll say of the United States and then of the world, is, we'll say, woke? Just a very well. That's very good. That is a very true answer. Not enough, unfortunately, is a self-defeating, self-deprecating, which we can't have. Of course it exists. They're not going to go away. We just can't let it... We can't speak it into existence often enough to bring any kind of long-term doubt. Doubt is the enemy. Always has been. But like I said... Go ahead. Say exactly. It's now or never. Either you are looking up and you are running with me, or you're trying to run, but you're looking down. And I will tell you, I don't know if you've ever tried to look where you're going, and all you can do is look at the sidewalk, but you're not actually paying attention to the path that you're on. You are merely putting one foot in front of the other. Sometimes that's enough. but someone who understands, someone that literally can sit with the idea that being woke, the woke mind virus is human evolution, then you can shift your perspective and fake it until you make it, or act like it, or whatever you wanna call it or say it, whatever words you want to use, doesn't matter, because we're all talking about the same thing. It's the action that feeling represents. I don't remember what point I was trying to make.
Well, I find myself hanging on your statement of we don't want to speak it into existence, and I've been very much trying to figure out, because I keep coming across the message of your thoughts create your reality, and I think that's also where I had to stop screaming into the void and trying to change people's mind, and I guess following the news as closely as I was is because I found myself spiraling down into worst case scenario, where I was basically trying to tell everybody this can get really bad. Like, I don't think you know how bad this could get.
Right.
But again, nobody was listening. Nobody seemed to care. And then I felt like all I was doing was putting more energy out into the universe to increase that bad outcome likelihood of actually occurring.
Exactly.
So I'm trying to step away from the chaos that is actually happening in the world, and when I intuitively get a message or something comes up to me where I'm like, okay, I can put a different perspective and try to get this message across in a different way, I follow that. But I think that there's so much fear, and I almost feel like it's on purpose.
Oh, it very much is. It 100% is on purpose.
Yeah, and it's creating the outcome that they want, and if people, and I know it's hard, but if people could just, I don't know, because it's a double-edged sword. Like, do I step back and stop seeing it so that I stop living in fear, or if I step back too much, am I allowing it to happen, type thing?
Yes.
And
yes.
So I'm trying to find a balance, but also very much focus on sending the opposite energy out into the world of hope, and so I'm trying to, I'll come across videos of actually seeing people in political power positions fighting back. And I've seen people crying because they're just so scared, and that gives me some hope that people still have hearts and care.
Right.
And people who are in power have hearts and care and can do something. So it gives me, where at first it felt like when I was watching the news all the time, it felt like nobody cared, like nobody was doing anything. So in my own little personal reality that I'm living, taking the step back from trying to change everybody's mind, putting more hope out into the world, and but also, of course, putting different perspectives out there from time to time as well has made more of an impact in the reality I'm seeing.
I agree, because the parallel also happened to me. So I'm gonna try to flip your lid here for a second, okay?
Okay.
So, realize something. If we have consciousness, and everyone is consciousness, then everyone is God, and God is everyone.
Mm-hmm.
The reason he is all-knowing is because he's always paying attention. I don't say he. He's wrong. Because it is always paying attention.
Right.
Forgiveness is kind of the key. I'm getting off track, but it was important to mention that. If that is true, realize here that I exist in multiple timelines at the same time. In fact, I exist in no less than 5 timelines in this very moment. I exist in yours, mine, the people in TikTok, and well, though there's not anybody on YouTube, but I exist in that space too, and that one's being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you can understand that you can fragment your consciousness, you can multitask like a badass, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. I am entertaining, but I am also trying to teach. I am also trying to explain. I am capable of more than one thing at a time. And so are you. So, let me ask you this. Are you multitasking right now, or are you focused on one thing?
At this exact moment,
Yes.
I feel like I'm focused on understanding the bigger picture here so I can have more of an effect. So I'm focused, but also multitasking and how I can do other things once I
yes.
together. But when you said that you were on this timeline and in another timeline, like, does that mean like you're consciously living life and experiencing life? Or are you just in this, like, just splitting your consciousness right now in order to get a message across?
So that is the difference between doing and being.
Mm-hmm.
So what I am doing is experiencing these timelines, existing in these timelines. But what I'm being, what I am meant to be adding to the picture is a way to connect and live in the moment, which is what I'm doing with all of you right now. I'm living in the moment with you and experiencing it with you, and just because I'm playing a video game, and just because I'm streaming on TikTok, and just because I'm streaming on YouTube, and just because I'm talking to you, Jamie, and just because I have Katie in here who's paying attention, I am living in the moment with you how I want to live my life. This is what I want to do for the rest of time, is to talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
That's my ulterior motive. My journey here, everything that I have been a part of, everything that I've done, and everything that has happened to me has put me in a unique position to try to inspire someone.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can do that, if I can inspire you to do something for yourself, then just maybe you would be willing, you would be inspired to help me. Because there is always a cost.
Well, I lost my train.
Oh, okay.
But I guess I got it. So, I feel like the people who even would come and try to hear what you have to say, doesn't seem to be the majority. Like, the people who would hear your messages on TikTok, they're usually people who've already done their own, like, spiritual journey, their own.
We call it shadow work.
Yeah, okay. And I feel most people don't even entertain the ideas of other dimensions and parallel realities and universal consciousness and things like that. I think the first step is going to get people looking into that, researching that, and starting to ultimately believe it. And then I think it kind of does a ripple effect
Yes.
of leading to greater outcomes. And so with like the whole 5051 like protesting, I think it's focusing on a very like little part of the bigger picture of what's needed.
But it gives people something to do, so they feel like they are helping.
Yeah, and I can understand very much feeling like wanting to feel like you're helping, but are you helping? Or are you again putting more fear out into the world?
Right. It's ignorance is bliss, right? How old is that phrase?
Yes, and I'm not saying be ignorant, but
no. It's a balance, right? It's a balance.
Yes, but I also know how frustrating it can be to put so much energy into a cause you believe in and trying to, save everyone, basically.
Yeah.
And feel like you made things worse because that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Things can look worse before they get better. Yes. Absolutely.
And I do believe that. And but I mean, I also think it is very important for people, like you said, the 505 woman to go out and actually protest, because it also, I don't think they're going to change people's minds, but I think it's going to make the people who agree with them and believe in them feel empowered to join them.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the reason why everything that I say and do is so cryptic, because if I tell you the answer, if I give you the answer, are you really learning anything?
Right. No. No, and you're not discovering your path on your own, basically.
Exactly.
But yes, I agree in your cause and very much believe in it, and I feel like I'm going to do my part. I already was, in my opinion, before I came across them.
Now you just need now you have a reason. Now you have a reason to do it.
I had the reason before. Now it helped confirm that, I'm not crazy.
Well, yes, no, that's true too. Well, and so I want to talk about something here real quick, because Katie's brought it up, you brought it up, and a couple people in my messages have brought it up. Why is it all about me?
Yeah.
And the reason that's the case is because if we are not able to focus on one person's voice, one person's need, then we will never be able to listen to anyone's voice except those who already have the power. I have no power. I don't claim to have power. I don't claim none of that. I lost my train of thought. But
I don't know if I agree with that statement. I think a lot of the problem here is people don't feel like their voice matters.
Yes.
And I think changing that perspective to how important their voice is and how powerful they are as an individual to change things is very much important. And I think people just need to believe that about themselves, and so that's the messages that I'm going to try to put out there and change.
Excellent. No, So, I think you said it a little while ago, or someone said it in one of my messages. You can only change you. You
Yeah.
can't change anybody else. That's why it's about me. That's why it's so focused on me. Yes, do I understand that I am not the center of the universe? Of course. But if you understand, my goal is to make myself the center of the universe. And that's what I am trying to do. Actively putting my effort into. And realizing that you can do exactly what I'm trying to do. But if you don't care about what I'm saying, if you don't care about me, if you don't care about what I'm trying to do, then it's much harder to see the big picture because I haven't had a chance to show it to you.
Yeah. I feel like I can relate on the message that you're trying to say about like, making yourself the center of the universe and bringing it back to you and like one voice, because ultimately they say it's a collective consciousness. We are all one. Yes. Everything is connected.
Exactly.
I can understand that concept, but I think it's going to be difficult to convince the mass populace of that concept, especially when there's obviously so much different opinion
about how things should happen. That's
Correct.
Why the message isn't my message. My ulterior motives, the fact that I am trying to do this for personal selfish reasons doesn't matter, because I don't care about those personal selfish reasons until everyone else has had a chance to say their reasons. That's why I need to talk to everybody, because I need to be able to hear you. In order to be able to help you, in order to be able to get you where you want to be, where you need to be, I need to talk to you. And you need to think I'm talking to you.
Right.
That's why I say you and they and all those.
I guess the point, like my reason by what I'm doing is that I think everybody deserves to live a magical life and everything. Like I part of my life feel like this was literal hell, and it was like some type of punishment or a curse or something living life. And once I started changing my perspective, I'm actually feeling the opposite now and feeling very thankful and seeing the potential, I guess, in being able to create that reality that I want. But I know that, what I'm going through right now is very personal, and, everybody else is going to have to experience their own things that get them to this point, as it took me a lot to get here.
Right.
But I can look back on my life and see how everything did happen for a reason, and how I very much was protected and guided through the whole thing.
Right. It's saying that God, having the perspective that God is just a kid with an anthill and a magnifying glass. That's the way it used to be. Because go ahead.
I think some people still feel that way. I very much found myself having a conversation today that I found myself feeling uncomfortable using the word God, and so I changed it to the agape,
okay,
which means unconditional love, because there's such, like the whole Christianity religion, just it seems like the God that is fed to us is very much, like unmerciful and over punishing, and making you sacrifice so much to show loyalty, and that's not what I resonate with at all.
No, and same, and that's another perspective that people can sometimes miss, and because it's not always at the forefront of what I'm talking about, and that's that. What was I trying to say? Say the last thing that you said real quick. Try to refresh me so that I can regear.
That the Christianity God that we are fed so much is, very much unmerciful, over punishing, makes you sacrifice to show loyalty, very controlling.
Yes.
And
all of that comes from a very specific, learned perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Once you realize that God isn't anything more than a voice in your head, but it's also everything else at the same time, and all of those things. But if you understand that it's just a voice in your head telling you or showing you or explaining to you or comforting you, it's just trying to help. And if you don't listen to it and you don't give it the attention it deserves, it's going to become negative. And negativity breeds negativity. It just does. Alright. I think that might be where I call it for TikTok. Oh, Kane asked a question. Yes, I wanted to answer that. Hold on one sec. He says, how far exactly are you and others involved here willing to go to stop what's happening? Kane, I am willing to go as far as it takes. What I'm not willing to do is spend the rest of my life getting there. We have to make a decision now. We have to start moving now. It's too late for action, or it's too late for inaction. I will go until we are there, but I can only go so long as I have the willpower to continue. Or I run out of money, which technically already happened, but I'm still here, apparently. So, I want to finish this. Okay, TikTok. Does anyone have any final questions? Anything that they want to say? Anything that they want to bring up? Anything that can't wait? Because I will be live again in... Oh, Jake's here. Well, Jake may be here. We'll see. I saw him pop on, but I don't know if he'll be able to get in here. We'll invite him real quick. Go ahead.
What do you go by, Legion, or what do you want to be called?
Legion, Christian, Uncle Dude. It's really kind of whatever, because everything is so broken, and hard to follow. I am fractured, and I exist in multiple forms. If we could consolidate that, it'd be really nice. But I need help because I can't do it on my own.
Understood. Well, I just wanted to say thank you for the conversation. I do have to go, though.
Thank you, Jamie, for hanging out. Let me know. Kind of just keep your eye out, perceive, and if you have something to say, something that you feel is important, then I want you to speak up and let me know.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Anybody from TikTok? Going once, going twice? You guys have a great day. I think I might have not been on game the entire time, so you guys didn't actually get to see me playing any Borderlands. Sorry, guys.